Let's get started with alignment for T-Tapp Twist. I know in every single move that I break down, we start with alignment. You think you would know it by now, right? But we can never go over it too much. Years ago, I was learning a piano piece that was a medley of two different songs, and I had troubles with the transition part, about 4 measures. Well, of course I practiced the whole song, but guess what I practiced the most? Right, those 4 measures. Over and over and over. I practiced them so much that at the time my daughter, who was about 9-ish years old, maybe 10, watched and listened to me so much she could play those 4 measures even though she couldn't read the music. That's how much I practiced it. And long after the rest of the song that I had memorized was gone, guess what part I remembered? You're right, those 4 measures. So when we take the time to really tackle alignment in each and every move, when we're breaking it down like this, you're just cementing that with that brain-body connection. Because as we stand here and get into alignment, we're not moving, we're not actually executing a move. So we can really focus on that. Once we start moving, we are going to get somewhat out of alignment. We have muscle imbalances going on. We have maybe scoliosis or other things functionally going on that we just can't quite keep it all together. And it's a lot for your brain to keep track of anyway. So the more we practice this alignment piece, the better the rest of it will be. Because even though that part might not be quite as solid once you go into the actual move, it's going to be a whole lot better than if you don't practice it at all. And we just always need that at practice, because alignment is truly one of the keys to success with any workout, but especially with T-Tapp. So, as usual, we're going to start with those toes forward. Your feet are not too far apart. If you are brand new to T-Tapp or you've only been doing it for about 6 months, I would suggest you stick with the traditional hip ball joint width apart. So not our outside fleshy part of our hips, because that would be more shoulder width. We want to be more hip ball joint width apart. Now, if you're more advanced, meaning you've been T-tapping for consistently at least for about 6 months, you can bring that in a little bit to what we call 4 fingers between the ball joint. This uses a little more core, gives you more room to push out those knees, but we want you in the beginning to get those knee attachments, those muscles really strong, and to learn to push those knees out, getting that brain body before we bring it in, because you can over push here as well as here as you get stronger. So we're going to do some things that will help keep you from overdoing it. So I'm going to stay at the traditional width for this first alignment piece. So here we are. I'm talking like music of a piece, right? So hip ball joint width apart, not too far apart. Toes are forward. Softly bend those knees. You don't have to bend them deeply just yet, just softly, to kind of get in that first alignment there. Get my feet back together where they need to be. Softly bend. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing with curling my core. Softly bend, hand on belly, hand lower back. I've talked about this a lot. You can go back through the other videos for curling the core. So big inhale. Exhale, think belly button up. And yes, I literally want you to help your belly go up. Inhale again. Exhale, belly button back. You're pressing your hand against your belly. Belly presses back into that back hand. You can do this against a wall. So right now the hand becomes the wall. Press in to kind of keep that brain-body connection there. Shake the head no, because then the neck likes to help out. Big inhale. Exhale, tighten those buns and press like an elevator to get those ribs up. Now you notice went a little bit more neutral here. I'm not quite as flat. That's okay as long as I'm not arching out my back this way. So it's a little more neutral, but keep that tummy in. Keep those ribs up so it settles the shoulders over the hips naturally. Shift weight back in the heels just a little bit. This is what's going to protect you from over pushing your knees. So especially if you have knee issues, and even those of us who don't want to get knee issues, shift that weight back in the heels a bit. Yeah, your toes are going to go bing in your shoes, and that's fine. And by the way, yes, I do want you to use shoes with this, especially when we're breaking it down so slowly. Even you more advanced T-tappers, I know you hate shoes. Get something like the Nike Freeze. These are the Flyknit 4.0. I think now it's RN. I'm really not sure. We don't have Teresa to help us keep it all caught up on what the latest is, but it's a more flexible shoe, but do have something on, because you're really going to be focusing. You want to be scrunching your toes, okay? So pressing, refocus that ribs up, shift weight back. Now we think knees out. Now my knees didn't push out a lot. Now I can push out a lot there, but I just want weight back in the heels and push those knees out a little bit, or off big toes. Sometimes that helps. Mitten hand away, pull that tummy in as you reach away. Do a double check that you're really shoulder in alignment with your shoulder, because sometimes a hand likes to drift forward. Reaching out like you have a web made in your core, going up through your chest and down, down, down through that hand, and really stretch that thumb, kind of a mitten hand there. Keep that weight back in the heels. Yeah, see, I was shifting forward while I was talking. Your kind of weight is mid to end edge of, and out to the back of the heel, and then outside edge of your foot, but you're not way out on that outside edge, okay? Your big toe may be connecting in your shoe, but don't let the weight come in. See how my knees went in there? Okay, you should have had your hand on your belly. Sorry about that. Ribs up, pull that tummy in as you now reach away with that other hand. Do a quick check to make sure you're in alignment. reaching out like you're making a web and it's going out through those arms. Good job. Fold those fingers and stretch the thumbs. And we do what we call bear claw, if you're not familiar, where we spread the knuckles apart and keep that thumb stretching too. Thumbs twisting back through thick mud. Don't just flip like that. That's too easy. Back through thick mud. But at the same time, reaching out. At the same time, shake the head no. If you ever feel like you're getting some neck tension there, keep shaking that head no. So now we're going to do what we call activate hips. And we want to think of turning out that whole leg from the ankle, knee, and up to the hips, okay? So we were here. So that's going to create the foundation. Inhale. Exhale, up through thick mud. You're using core. You're not just tightening those glutes. Up and then thumbs back. We shift back. We're going to shake that head no again. We're going to clap out for 4. Inhale. Exhale, here we go. Fingertips, thumbs back, 2 and back. Little pump there. And 4, there you go. Now for T-Tapp Twist, we'll go on into setting up. And then the next video will actually execute the move. So for T-Tapp Twist, we're going to put the hand up and then mitten now. So we're going to scoop it. And we come the other one on top. And on either side of that middle knuckle there, press. That's going to help you get those ribs up a little bit more. And you can pull the tummy in there too, using leverage isometrics and push and pull, the power of the push, press, and pull. Pressing in, keep stretching that thumb towards your chest, that right thumb. Pressing up. Shake that head no. Make sure the weight's in heels. Knees are out. So this is how we'll push. We'll use that hand to push and go to that side. And we'll do that in just a moment. So refocus that core. Are the knees bent? Core tucked under. Press those hands to help you get it. And press to get those ribs up. Shake head no. Now, as we go to the side, I want you to aim slightly higher with that right elbow. You're not going to go way up here, but tendency is we want to drop it. We don't want to drop. I find if I aim just a tiny bit, like an inch higher than my shoulder, it's just about right. Big inhale. Exhale, press, and at the same time, push that left knee up to help you keep, because you want our hips to follow. You want the hips stay to me as you go to your side. So you might not go as far as you thought you could if you could do this, but we don't want to twist the hips, just the other upper body. You can do this in a chair, and it's really powerful to help you isolate that lower body. Now you notice my elbow ended up about shoulder height, and I dropped my front elbow. You don't have to have them both up here because that tends to get some neck tension and trap dominance. So we press to go to the side, push out that left knee. Big inhale here. Exhale all the way. Now I'm not going into the move just yet, so we're going to take the fingers and drag to come back center. Straighten the knees and wiggle them out, but don't get out of position. And you can shake out the hands too. We're just going to switch them though. So press it, come back. We're going to use the power of the press here. Bend those knees, press to tuck under, press to get ribs up, shift weight back and off big toe or knees out, whichever way to say it works best for you and connects. Now we're going to do the opposite side. We're just going to go to the side. We're learning alignment. We're learning to keep those hips forward. They're planted like headlights on them going forward. Now they will come a little bit out of that alignment when we actually execute the move, but to start out, we want to keep those hips solid and square forward. If you're having a really hard time with that, get in a chair. It really helps. I have some videos, I think, in the units about T-Tapp Twist in a chair, so you should be able to get those if you need some tips. Ribs up nice and tall. Big inhale. Exhale, we're going to press, and remember, we're aiming just a little higher than that shoulder, and we're dropping that front elbow as we go over to the side here. We'll stretch in the next video, but right now we're just going to the side, getting that hip forward. That uses right knee out, and use core to keep that left hip forward. Inhale big, exhale bigger. Now drag on the either side of that knuckle there, drag to come back center. Go ahead and straighten those knees and shake them out. Now we're going to kick out because you really need it. Mitten hand straight away in an inverted V, reaching through just like we did at the beginning. Shake that head no. Now you're going to keep your knees softly bent as we kick out. Little flicking. Oh, feels good. 3 and 4, reaching out. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now as we lift, we want to keep 90 ankle alignment. Now sometimes we have tight hips. You'll see mine come in a little bit too, but I'm working on it where we go lift touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. 4 touch, sorry. Shoulder roll back. And then we're going to curl hunch, weight and heels, relax head, shake head, no. Inhale. Exhale, shoulder roll up and back, knees out, knees out. Straight hunch up. And it's not about straightening the knees, it's just about knees out, ribs up as you release. So there's the first part of this, setting up with that alignment, turning to the side, but keeping those hips forward, because that's really key to keep the lower body isolated as we twist the upper body. It really helps to bring those lymph nodes along the spine, also helps build spinal muscle density, which is a gain that we really want. And it really uses that core, as you probably already figured out. If you haven't been doing this for a while, or you have not been doing standing workouts, you might notice your knees are a little sore. Those kickouts feel really good, don't they? If you're not quite ready for doing this standing, you can follow along in a chair. The primary principles of alignment are sitting towards the edge of your seat, knees straight out from the hips, ankles under knees, toes forward. And you still have to do a little bit of pressing of the opposite as you. I'd like to press on my right, for example, to go to the left because your knees still want to follow, even in a chair. So there's some tips to get started with alignment. If you have any questions, just comment below. If you have any ahas, I'd love to hear those too.